I used a program called GavPy to turn my voice into a controller for Rocket League. Thanks to technology, I can program a set of actions to be done whenever I say the trigger word. So when I say jump, Rocket League jumps. When I say aerial, Rocket League aerials. And when I say give up, Rocket League gives up. All of this done to answer 2 questions. How far could I make it into ranked while only having 3 days to train? And how many aerials can I hit in the 4 days that I play? These are my friends Fooly and Bug proving that these controls are just as hard as they sound. That's why I decided to make this a little bit easier by allowing myself to press left and right on the keyboard. But if it was that simple, it wouldn't be a Gargan video. That's why I decided that the only tool suitable for pressing a key in this challenge is a single chopstick. This makes it that much harder to be precise with my movement. Believe me, even with this handicap, it is still incredibly hard to control.
Stop, Stu! Flip. Go! Oh. Go! No!
But with this setup, things like a handless aerial will actually be possible.
Flip.
Saves were the easiest out of everything to hit. While still difficult, putting your car in between the ball and your goal is way easier than shooting an accurate shot. But because forward and stop were both tied to a voice command, it was way too easy to just drive past the ball, since I really couldn't slow down in time. I needed an easy way to stop, preferably something that would make my car take up more space than it normally would so I could block the ball easier. That's why I added the command backflip. Backflip is technically what you call a half flip in Rocket League slang, and a half flip is basically just a quicker way to turn around. But for me, it doubled as a very effective save mechanic.
Backflip. Let's go. Backflip. Backflip.
But what about when the ball is a little higher up? For that I only had a double jump command simply named dump. It was chat's idea, not mine, but it served quite effective for reaching a little farther than a backflip or a normal flip could get me.
Dump.
And when all else fails, my aerial command, while a bit unreliable, was sometimes good to throw out since it covered such a wide area.
Aerial.
The side effect of playing with voice commands is that every single one of your saves looks at least a little bit jank, but that did not stop me from getting alarmingly decent at it.
Flip. Backflip. Flip.
But saves won't get you anywhere if you can't score. And scoring, on the other hand, is definitely harder than saving. It is not easy to shoot an accurate shot with a chopstick. With that said, the easiest way for me to score was just by playing positionally. If I saw that the opponents had double committed or both driven past the ball, I would just use my boost command, and most of the time that turned into a pretty easy goal.
Boost. Let's do it. Let's go.
But what about when I had to shoot? Shooting mostly boiled down to 3 different voice commands: flip, power, and aerial, each of which have their own use cases. Flip was by far my most useful command, hands down. It was good for saving the ball, clearing the ball, getting around in general, but it was also great for putting a bit more power in a shot as quickly as possible. Part of the reason flip was so useful offensively was because it had 0 wind-up time. The delay on my program is around half a second, so by using flip I wouldn't be adding any more time to that already crippling amount of delay.
Flip. Clean though, clean shot.
Flip was the reflexive, quick-striking command that I could throw out at really any point in the game, but it lacked force. What about when I needed to launch the ball? Power was my go-to command for stronger shots. It had a lot of wind-up and it tilted my car back before flipping to simulate what they call a power shot in Rocket League slang. This command would only be the most effective if the ball was at the perfect height, so it wasn't super reliable. But the power shots that I did hit made it look like I actually wasn't using voice controls.
Power.
It also doubled as a decent blocking tool since my car would linger in the air a little bit before flipping, but it wasn't nearly as good as dump or aerial. Saving the best for last, aerial is a complex command that sets off a series of actions, making my car fly up in the air and spin. The idea of hitting an aerial just by saying the word aerial was the one thing that made me start doing this challenge in the first place. On day 2, I spent an entire 7 hours and 30 minutes trying to hit an aerial, and only came out with near misses. I was about to give up on my plans for the aerial, until at the end of day 2, I hit this.
Aerial.
At that moment, I realized it was entirely possible and only a matter of time before I actually hit one. But there was definitely a way to make my accuracy better for the next day, so I got to work on a plan. I realized that all of the aerials that I was throwing out were only timing based. I put very little effort into my positioning because I was only focused on the timing of when I spoke the command. So the next day, whenever I had an aerial opportunity, I tried to be hyper aware of exactly where my car was. And this paid off. The first game of day 3, I had a couple of very close calls, and then finally, 2.5 hours into the stream, I hit this.
Aerial. Yes! Yes, we hit it! We hit it! Oh my god!
After 10 hours, I had done what I believe no one has ever done before. I spoke an aerial. I didn't hit any more on day 3, but surprisingly, I would hit even more of them on day 4, when I entered ranked. The time was now to see what rank I could get while playing with voice controls. Personally, I considered it a success if I got the gold, and the way I was gonna do it was by playing as positionally as possible. I tried not to go for too many flashy plays and played as far away from what I like to call the ball mosh pit as I possibly could. Also, if you're wondering about the wizard hat, one of my overpriced Twitch viewer rewards is for me to wear a funny hat. Yeah. Anyways, this strategy worked quite well, and I was able to genuinely contribute to winning my games. I ended my 10 placement matches with 6 wins and 4 losses, placing me in Platinum, which needless to say surprised me. While only Platinum 1, it was still Platinum with voice controls. I didn't want to stop there though. If I couldn't maintain Platinum, then I wasn't a true Platinum player. I played another 23 games that day, and over those 23 games, I had a grand total of 3 aerial shots.
Levitate. Backflip. Levitate. The nice little levitate goal. Levitate. The nice little levitate goal. Another one?
But fittingly, the most hyped game I played that night was the final game. As the game began, I was tied for wins and losses. But as I looked at the opponents, one of them looked a little familiar. His name was Milkman.
Milkman. That was the guy at 1v1. Wait, is this the Milkman?
At the beginning of the day, I played some 1v1s to warm up. One of the opponents I played against had a very similar name, Milkboy85. I was convinced that these two people were the same people. Looking back, I'm glad I misremembered their names, because that made me so determined to beat Milkman twice as the first and last thing I do on stream. So much so that this game turned into one of the most exciting Rocket League games I've ever played.
You see, Milkboy never stood a chance. From the beginning, I could see it. That was the guy at 1v1. Wait, is this the Milkman? Flip. Power. Flip. I think I'm gonna lose against Milkman.
Milkman was absolutely owning me. I was starting to understand the reality of the situation, but out of nowhere, I was struck with pure determination to end this final game on a win.
I'm not losing against Milkman. Backflip. Levitate. No, we did not. I am not losing against Milkman. Not now, not ever. Boost. Let's do it. Boost. Flip. Let's do it. Yes! Let's go, Margie! Flip. Flip. Let's go! Let's go! Dude, let's go! Oh, I'm not losing against Milkman twice. I mean, I didn't lose against him. I'm beating Milkman twice. Flip. We have to win. We have to win. Boost. Flip. Two. Let's go, Margie! Let's go! Flip. Alright. Hold on. Boost. Let's do it. Boost. Let's do it. Flip. Boost. Let's do it. Flip. Let's go!
I ended the series with a rank of Gold 2 Division 4. Sadly, I wasn't a true Platinum player for 4 days, but achieving Plat alone is way more than I'd ever thought I'd be able to accomplish. I hit a grand total of 4 clean aerials, technically 7 if you count the lame ones that you're seeing now. I wasn't even sure if I could hit 1 though, so I'm happy with all of them. I stream this all live, so if you want to say hi, head on over to twitch.tv/Gargazoid. Also, thank you to my 2 lovely Patreons, Coley and Mr. Bub. If you want your name written on the ends of videos like these, head on over to my Patreon, link in description.